Yeah, many thanks, Balin. Good morning, everyone. Goedemorgen, dobre rano. And how did you say that in Hungarian, Balin, actually? Good morning. Oh, amazing. Sorry, now we have it in all the different 4 languages. Welcome, everyone. Really excited that all of us are joining for this wonderful conversation. It's actually another meetup of the circular and sustainable construction that is organized by the embassy of the Netherlands in the Hungary and Slovakia and a couple of partners as well. And we are going to have a 1.5 conversation where we will hear first welcome notes from a couple of people. Then we're going to dive into the market study that was identifying the opportunities on the market, especially in Hungary and Slovakia for the Dutch entrepreneurs. And then we're going to get a chance to have a roundtable, ask all the different questions. We're going to hear pitches from some amazing companies that have a potential to expand further into the markets of Hungary and Slovakia. And let's just really see what wonderful collaboration and what wonderful opportunities will come out of there. My name is Andrea Oursak. I'm a consultant within the field of circular economy and sustainability, and therefore I'm very excited that I got a chance to host this session today. Without further ado, I would like to invite and welcome His Excellency René van Hel, Ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to Hungary, to share with us his good morning thoughts on this topic, please.
Yes, thank you for your kind introduction. And well, indeed, other participants also welcome to our Circular and Sustainable Construction Meetup. Really a pleasure to organize this event with the Hungary Green Building Council, which is a strategic partner of our embassy. The goal of today's session is to present construction opportunities to entrepreneurs who are interested in doing business in Hungary and Slovakia. And of course, my colleagues in Slovakia will tell a little bit more about the Slovakian context, and I'll focus on the Hungarian one. What is our ambition? Our ambition is to enhance the level of cooperation between the two countries. And in the past 2 years, my embassy has been busy to introduce Netherlands best practices to the architect community in Hungary. And the Green Building Council, which has positioned itself to be a professional platform for the actors of the Hungarian building sector, has therefore always been of great help to us. It's my observation that Netherlands embassies worldwide put a high emphasis on the topic of sustainable construction. And the cooperation with the local Green Building Council is really sort of an emerging pattern everywhere. The question, of course, might arise, why do we focus so much on this sector? Well, as an embassy, it is our priority to work on the EU's green agenda and also on the UN's, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And so does the World Green Building Council, whose work touches upon more than half of the SDGs. I strongly believe that whatever aspect of the green transition we talk about, be it circular or a carbon neutral economy, for the road to a sustainable future, the building sector is essential. Based on buildings' full life cycle, this sector is responsible for half of all extracted materials and total energy consumption in the EU. Moreover, it accounts for 1/3 of all water consumption, waste generation, and carbon emissions in the community. Well, these are robust numbers, and I think we can only work together to improve them together. And that's why we've also commissioned PricewaterhouseCoopers Hungary to prepare a market study investigating opportunities for Netherlands entrepreneurs so that they can enter the Hungarian market and work together with local partners for a greener and more circular future. I very much like this study because it's practical, it's applicable, and it gives a comprehensive overview of the market, of the potential partners for cooperation and the available funds. Funds, of course, are interesting. The Hungarian government has published its final recovery and resilience plan, and that devotes around 1.3 billion euros for improving energy performance and, in addition to that, implementing the circular economy. And I think these two relevant issues, these two relevant fields of measures create opportunities in the building sector as well. At last, I'd like to say that I consider today's occasion a milestone because it's the first time that we bring together Dutch industry stakeholders with local ones. And I very much encourage the entrepreneurs from my country to be active in the roundtable session and to use this opportunity to make contacts with potential partners. I can assure you of the continuous support of our embassy. You can always contact my colleague or me, my colleague Balint Horvat, on circular economic policy, our circular economic policy officer on these issues. We're willing to help you in your local business development. So I wish everyone a pleasant and fruitful morning, and I look forward to all the concrete actions and activities that might arise from this morning. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, not only for the warm welcome that you extended, because indeed, this is a conversation of 1.5 hours, but this is not where it ends. This is literally where it starts. And we're really hoping that there's a conversation that will develop way beyond this session this morning. We're going to also set up a LinkedIn group where we would like to connect you all. I also want to make it very clear that this study that was already highlighted, and we're going to hear way more about it later directly from the consultants of PwC, will be also shared with all of you. So please do have a look. What are the outcomes? What are the opportunities? And if any questions, any comments, we're here for you to help you understand it further. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, once again, and also for creating a wonderful context, because it's not only a nice topic to discuss, there's some really hard data behind it, really making it very clear that that's one of the industries to look into and to collaborate on. And now I would like to invite to the table also Mr. Martijn Lamberts, who is Charge d'Affaires at the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Slovakia. So Martijn, the floor is yours, please. Do we have Martijn online? Just a quickie check.
Yes, sorry, I was still muted. Thanks a lot for your kind introduction. I'd like to welcome you all to this regional event devoted to business opportunities in the construction sector in Hungary and Slovakia, which we are very happy to host together with our embassy colleagues in Budapest, as well as the Green Building Councils. It is one of our several events by which we try to draw attention to the building sector in this region. Today's event is a special one because it provides tailor-made information for the Dutch business community. It highlights also areas where sustainable and circular solutions can be applied. We perceive a quite dynamic development in the Slovak construction sector. Renovation of apartment buildings is above the EU average. Also, there's an increase in building brand new sustainable projects, especially in the field of office buildings. The Slovak construction sector plays an important part in the recovery plan, like it does in Hungary. Around 11% of all the allocated money, and that's altogether 6 billion for Slovakia, so 11% of that will go to buildings, which is more than average of other countries. An important contact here is our Slovak Green Building Council, which I just mentioned. It's a part of today's meeting as well. They are very active in promoting sustainable buildings and are running a public-private dialogue for improving energy efficiency of buildings.
I'm sorry, we see a couple of people that did not mute their microphones. Can you please make sure your microphone is muted so we can hear all the speakers loud and clear? Many thanks. Thank you.
We'll continue.
Please.
Of course, I also would like to thank the authors of the market scan. That's PricewaterhouseCoopers Slovakia and the Institute of Circular Economy. I appreciate the smooth cooperation that we had with them and the ongoing dialogue while preparing the scan, so it fits the needs of the Dutch businesses. The authors made a very good search, resulting in showcasing business opportunities and stakeholders in Slovakia. And we believe that our efforts at the embassies will not be limited only just to a report. Together with RVO, whom everybody knows, I think we are striving providing topical information about international markets to support Dutch businesses. RVO has several tools available to boost the business activities abroad. Make use of them, I would say. This includes also organizing field visits in foreign countries, where both RVO and the embassies can be of help. Hungary and Slovakia are proud to be among the spotlight countries of Holland Circular Hotspot, with which we cooperated very intensively for at least the past 5 years. At the website, you can find a useful two-pager with concise information on the market and circular opportunities. Please just have a look at the website and you will find it. We trust that today's event will be an exciting journey for you and your business. Should you have any questions for Slovakia and its market, we are happy to help out, like our colleagues in Budapest. I hope you have a very fruitful webinar today. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Many thanks, Martijn. And again, thank you also introducing pretty much the study, because this is where we're getting right now. So we've been talking about this study, the PwC carried out together with the Institute of Circular Economy and other partners. And we keep on hearing from the both speeches that we heard so far that the study really looked into the markets, what's happening in the Hungarian market, what's happening in Slovak market. And the goal was also to identify what are the opportunity, and especially also what are the opportunity for the entrepreneurs from the Netherlands. So now we would like to invite onto the stage first Peter Kocsis, who's representing PwC in Hungary. And after we will be hearing also from Adriana Herakova representing PwC Slovakia. Peter, can you please tell us a little bit more about this study?
Yes, thank you, Andrea, and good morning to everyone. I'm sharing my screen because I prepared a short presentation.
Fantastic, we can see it.
Okay, great. So we worked on a market analysis regarding to circular economy in Hungary, and we analyzed 3 different sectors. We analyzed the automotive battery sector, the secondary raw material market, the utilization of organic waste, and last but not least, the building and infrastructure sector. And right now I would like to speak of the last sector what I mentioned. So first of all, we started to review the Hungarian policy landscape, and I would like to highlight 4 documents which started to make the basis of the transition to circular economy. First is the second national climate change strategy. The second one is the National Energy and Climate Plan. The third one, the National Clean Development Strategy. And the last is the National Waste Management Public Service Plan. From these 4, the National Clean Development Strategy is the one which is mainly dealing with the circularity of the economy. But the National Circular Economy Strategy is under preparation, and it is listed in the slide. The main stakeholders are working on this document and this main policy, which will be really the basis of the transition. What I would like to highlight from this part, in 2018, the Hungarian Circular Economy Platform has established. The founders was the Ministry of Innovation and Technology. This ministry is mainly managing the circular economy actions in Hungary, but there are other main stakeholders like the Business Council for Sustainable Development, the Hungarian organization, and of course one of the founders was the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. What it was mentioned in the introduction, the Recovery and Resiliency Plan has submitted to the EU, and it's a huge amount of financial support for the green transition and the transition on to the circular economy. And these financial supports will be spent between 2021 and 2027. To speak about the results of the analysis. So we mainly focused on the waste management part because in Hungary, the generated waste, 1/3 of the generated waste is connected to the construction sector. Mainly soils and mineral wastes are the generated waste, and these most of these waste is recycled, but not in a high value added way. Due to the COVID, the construction output was a little bit decreased last year, but it started to increase again. So in Hungary, the construction developments will increase in the near future. So within our analysis, we found very good examples and good practices in Hungary. For example, the renovation of buildings, the building information modeling solutions, digital material passports, green certified buildings, and sustainable construction materials. Most of these parts are not in a mature status or condition, because Hungary is in the construction sector is in the lagging section within the EU. So there are very huge room for improvement within this sector. I would like to highlight the condition of the Hungarian buildings, because it's also connected to circular economy and also connected to the green transition and to climate change and energy consumption. So unfortunately, the latest comprehensive survey prepared in 2015, but it's showing very detailed information about the condition of the Hungarian buildings. The figure shows 10 different categories, which is related to the status of the condition of the buildings and the household incomes. You can see it in a slide. The dark red part of the column and the light red part of the column shows the percentage of the buildings which need to be renovated. It could be stated there that, however, the highest household income category, more than 40% need to be renovated of these buildings. I think the situation right now is better, because there are a lot of financial support from the EU and the Hungarian government to increase the condition of the buildings. And this survey also stated there that 36% of the owners of the buildings planning to renovate. So I think right now the situation is better in the middle and in the higher income households, but in the lower income households, maybe the situation got worse, because not all of the time they are aware of these financial supports, or they don't have the motivation to make these renovations. In my last slide, I would like to highlight 3 potential market opportunities. Unfortunately, I would like to also highlight that in the Hungarian construction sector is very cost sensitive and looking for cost-efficient solutions. So first of all, if we speaking about green building design, then we should also focus on cost efficiency. So but those architects who has experience in BREEAM and LEED compliant designing, then these architects could find those solutions which could release or decrease the capital expenditures. So it's really important to find those architects who has the relevant experience and enough experience to find green and cost-efficient solutions for building designing. The other one is sustainable construction materials. As I mentioned, there are good examples and good practices regarding to sustainable construction materials, but I would like to highlight that this market is in a very beginning phase. I would like to just highlight one example. For example, MOL, the Hungarian oil and gas company, is producing rubber bitumen, which trying to recycle those used tires which are in the other solution, it could be put into landfill, but in this case, they can produce higher life cycle and those kind of bitumen which has better conditions and parameters. So this market sector is a very small part of the construction market, and I think there are opportunities for those manufacturers who has a mature technology and a mature product to introduce it to these kind of markets like in Hungary. And the last one is eco houses. It's mainly connected to, it could be connected to green designing, but it's mainly focusing on family houses. As it mentioned in the previous slide, you saw that the higher income households are is in a better position to make these kind of investments. So many of those family houses or households who trying to improve their energy consumption and trying to reach the zero emission and carbon neutral living, they are very satisfied to have these kind of houses. So this could be also a sector or a part of the sector which could be an opportunity for those companies who has experiences and complete packages to build these kind of family houses. So thank you very much. It was really just a brief part of our market analysis. I hope you found it useful for you.
Many thanks, Peter. And indeed, thank you very much for sharing those highlights. We could hear you talk about tremendous opportunity, because when it comes to construction business within the Hungary, yeah, there is just so much space for improvement. You made it very clear that it's also cost-sensitive industry, and especially when we're talking about households. At the same time, you mentioned some interesting figures that it's over 35% of households really planning on innovating and renovating. Money is available based on the funds from the European Union, but it's going to be also very crucial to find the right partners. And the main opportunities that you highlighted is green buildings. So all the different certifications, how to make it more environmentally friendly. Then we were hearing a lot about space for improvement when it comes to green materials. And last but not least was definitely, especially for households, eco houses and opportunities and ideas over there. So thank you so much for highlighting all of that. I'm also going very quickly through the questions, and there is an interesting one from Barry, who's wondering, you were talking quite a lot about the households. Is there also an opportunity for the industry? So commercial spaces, factories, and so on. Do you maybe have a brief insight into that, Peter?
Yes. We have some clients. We have not a huge number, but several clients who really trying to have these BREEAM and LEED certifications for their industrial buildings. So it's also an opportunity, but many not for the Hungarian-owned companies, but the foreign companies who has plants and units here in Hungary. So it's also started to have these kind of increasing of sustainable building constructions. So it's not just new buildings, but also the only existing the right existing buildings looking for improvements. So yeah, it's also an opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much for adding this. There's some more interesting questions popping up, and I would like to pause them for now so we can talk about what's happening within the market in Slovakia that will be presented to us by Adriana, and then we can really dive also to those additional questions. So Peter, many thanks for your presentation, and Adriana, over to you now.
Thank you, Andrea, for your introduction. I will try now to share my screen. Yes, this one. Sure. Hope you can see my screen now.
Yes.
So, good morning, everyone. In my part of the presentation, I would like to give you a short overview of the construction market in Slovakia in terms of policy landscape, market developments, sustainability trends, and identified business opportunities, which might be of future interest. So let's get to it. I prepared like short slide also about the Slovakia as a country in general. So some concise information. Slovakia is a landlocked country in Central Europe with population over 5 million people. The economy is high income economy, developed with considerable regional disparities. Slovakia has also witnessed impressive economic growth following the 2009 economic crisis, which was slowed down now in 2020. By recession, but generally it was growing by 4% in 2018 or almost 3% in 2019 by real GDP. Over the last 2 decades, Slovak Republic has been one of the fastest growing transitional economies, mainly thanks to the export-oriented manufacturing underpinned by the automotive sector. So let's get to the policy landscape. As I was already mentioning, our market study in part of Slovakia, we are mainly talking about 4 main documents, policies, which is Greener Slovakia or Enviro Strategy 2030, Modern and Successful Slovakia, Waste Prevention Program until 2025, and Circular Roadmap, which is now currently in development. It should be finished in 2022. This one will be especially interesting for us because it will also provide business opportunities of the circular economy in Slovakia. So, therefore, and I also wanted to mention that it has been all acknowledged in all of these documents that the waste management, including waste prevention, is the key tool to stimulate Slovakia's transitions towards a circular economy. And all of them, they are identifying key issues and challenges in Slovakia, which is mainly waste management, air quality, habitat protection, and recycling and landfilling issues. This slide, I prepared a short market outlook of the construction sector in Slovakia. Construction industry is considered as one of the key sectors in Slovakia. Together with automotive industry, they form the core of the Slovak economy. The broad construction and building sector is composed mainly of the small and medium-sized companies. The percentage is 99.4% of the market, and a few large, mainly international players. In total, there are 100,000 enterprises that was accounted working in the construction industry. It is also noteworthy that the construction sector is the largest producer of industrial waste in Slovakia. Currently, all industrial construction activities combined account for about 16% of industrial waste generation. On the top of these, there is also construction waste from buildings and reconstruction of private houses where the most illegal dumping occurs, which is also one of the main issues in Slovakia. I'm now moving to another slide. In the next 2 slides, I just prepared some main points regarding the sustainability practice in construction and building sector. When looking at the sustainability trends, we can state that the sector in Slovakia is lacking in innovation and in use of recycled construction materials. The use rate of them is very low, it's below 10%, as you can see, and the recovery rate of construction and demolition waste is also very low. It's only 51% as it was in 2018. Also, how you can see in the graph, also there is huge lack of data regarding these kind of groupings of the recovery or circular material use rate. So that is also one of the big issues which is not helping the market. Traditionally, the construction sector in Slovakia is more conservative and less open to innovations when compared, for example, to the one in the Netherlands. So far, recycling construction material is not major field of the interest, The main overall barriers for these recycled materials usage is oftentimes price, which is higher many times than the price of the native raw materials. Then it can be quality issues and the reluctance of the planners and contractors to apply these recycled materials. So it's a still very traditional market, but it is changing. When we move to next slide, this was already mentioned here that the renovation rate of the apartment and family houses is above average when compared to EU countries. The country has been pursuing an ambitious renovation programs for multi-apartment buildings, public buildings, and additional measures also focusing on family houses such as insulation and etc. What are the main obstacles? Are the oftentimes low income, low awareness about energy renovation, and lack of advisory services. However, the policies are trying to support more and more the changing of the opinions or the status of this. National Energy Climate Plan of Slovakia estimates by 2030, 3 billion euros will be needed to renovate non-residential buildings, out of which 1.2 billion will be needed only for public buildings. So together with Energy Efficiency Recovery Plan, they present significant opportunity for action, which will be mentioned in a following slide. Also, in terms of overall digitalization and data application usage, the construction sector is underdeveloped. I picked up one of the examples that only 13% of Slovak companies in construction sector know and actively use BIM processes in their planning processes or the construction processes. However, some private investors and developers in Slovakia are already using these advanced methods and technologies in their constructions. When compared also Slovakia with other V4 countries in terms of green building certifications, Slovakia is at the lowest position. The concept of green buildings is currently not conceptually supported by political circles, nor is it fully enshrined in legislation. So also here is the great room for improvement. And yeah, these are the basically summary of identified opportunities, not only, but major which came out after our market study session. First one will be, as I was mentioning, the importance of disposal and recycling of construction waste. The development of new waste disposal sites with advanced recycling solutions will be required in Slovakia, as more waste and construction waste especially is expected to be produced. There is a high demand for living space in Slovakia. There are new constructions. So this is one of the areas which would be very important. Second area, we consider to include the knowledge exchange, especially in order to improve the advanced technologies usage, classification, certification of buildings. And this knowledge exchange should work especially between architects, investors, contractors, and municipalities, and of course between Slovakia and Netherlands as an example and as a best practice. And the third big opportunity lies especially in the renovation of the building stock and energy efficiency recovery plans for building. This is similar as in Hungary. There is a need to renovate the old building stock and the construction of the new buildings complying with the BREEAM and LEED certifications. These BREEAM and LEED certification buildings now are currently being constructed as a more office space, and especially in Bratislava. So it is still not in a big scale. There are only a handful of projects like this in Slovakia. And my last slide here, I pinpoint some potential partners. So of course, as mentioned, Slovak Green Building Council, Buildings for Future, BAM Association Slovakia, and many other private players, companies in the market, such as HB Revis Group or Strabag or YIT. So these would be the main ones, but of course not only. And the funding, these basically what I was trying to pinpoint here, that Slovak government does not yet have a clear strategy for financial coverage of this transaction, and therefore these green and circular initiatives are still oftentimes dependent on support from foreign investment in Slovakia. So yes, it's not fully enshrined. However, there are various subsidies and loans going on for green projects. There I highlighted it could be obtained from, I don't know, Visegrad Fund, Norwegian grant, European banks, many of other programs, and also from the operational program Quality of Environment, which is run by Ministry of Environment in Slovakia. So that would be it. That was a very fast and very quick overview what you can find further in our market study. Thank you all. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask for more details.
Thank you so much for this comprehensive update and highlights, Adriana. Indeed, like we can all imagine there's way more in the study, and what we could hear, there is a huge space for improvement in the field of innovation, especially when it comes to figuring out the recovery materials, how to avoid waste within the construction building. We've been hearing a lot of potential for improving the overall knowledge sharing, and then indeed it's going to be about collaboration. There are already some partners who can really join forces here, and this is indeed a big opportunity for all the different Dutch entrepreneurs that would like to be a part of that and help improve the market in Slovakia as well. Many thanks.
Welcome.
I also want to highlight that while we're focusing today on this study of the PwC and the opportunities within Hungarian and Slovak markets, I'm hearing from Evstatios Andreou, who is the deputy ambassador at the Dutch embassy in Hungary, that there are actually more studies. He's also mentioning that there is life science and health study, sustainable mobility and circular economy study. So also for people who would be interested to get more insights into the markets and different industries, he stated there where to get in touch with them. It's bdp@minbuza.nl. So please check it out and do get in touch. So thank you so much, PwC and Adriana and Peter, for highlights of the study. And now we're of course getting to the part how we can match this expertise of what's happening in the Netherlands and the innovation and potential of the Dutch entrepreneurs with this gap on a market in Hungary and Slovakia. And for this, I would like to invite to join us Leticia Nosek, who is a circularity project manager at the Dutch Green Building Council. So Leticia, over to you now.
Well, thank you, Andrea, for the nice introduction. I also have a presentation to first explain you a bit more about the Dutch Green Building Council and what we do. So we are the Dutch partners of the organizers of the Hungarian Green Building Council, that's nice to say. And we are founded in 2008 as a market initiative. And we have an extensive network in the Netherlands on sustainable construction and buildings. And we do this through some topics, some sustainable topics: health and well-being, circular economy, Paris-proof, it's more about CO2 reduction, and climate adaptation. And the other branch of the Dutch Green Building Council is BREEAM-NL. So we educate all the experts and the assessors, and we give out the certificates for BREEAM in the Netherlands. And I think the Dutch entrepreneurs know this, but it's slightly different than the international BREEAM standard. So we adapted this a bit to the Dutch market because, especially for circular economy, for example, we we are a bit further, so to say. But first, I want to dive a bit deeper in our Paris-proof theme, because I heard in Hungary and in Slovakia, the renovation wave is a challenge, and we have built a Delta plan to show how you can renovate existing buildings, primarily utilities, so not focused on houses, but here we say that to be Paris-proof, you have to reduce your operational energy use with 2/3 to stay within the Paris-proof budget, and this has to be done by 2050, but we want to be a bit more ambitious and go and do this in 2040. How we do this? We set clear targets, and we build tools, and we cooperate with the building sector, and really to make it pinpoint it into the different sectors. At the moment, we have 40 Paris-proof commitment signees, so companies that have signed this commitment and are building and are renovating their building stock. And also nice to say, we presented to Frans Timmermans, and he was really pleased with this. So it might be also a look through for a European strategy. And the tool we built is the actual energy intensity indicator, where you can really calculate what your actual emission is for your building. So I saw the renovation challenge, so I thought it would be nice for you to see how the Dutch Green Building Council is doing this, but also that we have a lot of committers that can maybe also translate this to other markets. Then I want to dive a bit deeper in the circular economy part. We have developed a strategy framework with a definition of a circular building, and that is a building that is developed, used, and reused without unnecessary resources, depletion, environmental pollution, and ecosystem degradation. There are some topics in this, and we also map this on our BREEAM system to really see how you can apply this to the building sector. Besides that, we have a circular program where we have 3 pillars in it, really to boost the circular economy in the building sector. We do this through measurability. So what you saw in the previous slide, we define indicators, but also make clear what the definition actually is of circularity in the building sector. We also do this through the boosting the circular construction economy by the financial part, business cases, legal, and procurement, but also really the implementation. And I think that is why we are sitting here all today, to see what you can actually do and how you should do it, and how you can reduce the environmental impact of the construction sector. I also want to share some reports of us, and I think that if you're thinking about circularity and really make it applicable in buildings, you can do this to releasability indicators. So really looking at how you can build a building and reuse every part of it by thinking on the different aspects of the building and how you can take this apart again, so that all the materials can have a second life. We have a framework where all of this comes together, and we recently also released a framework for circular buildings for existing buildings as well. So also referring to the renovation wave, yeah, really to see how you can implement this. We have some indicators on demolition. Really, if you're looking at waste, how can you take the usable parts again and reuse it? And toxicity, it's actually the same as demolition, but only on the toxicity levels. So if you want to read more about this, you can find it on our website, or you can just contact me, of course. Setting the scene a bit, maybe to look into why this is important also for Dutch construction architects and owners. In the Netherlands, we have the Environmental Performance Buildings regulation, the MPG, Milieuprestatie Gebouwen. And this is mandatory for an environmental permit since 2018 for new houses and offices. And in the MPG, we actually calculated shadow costs. So we have 19 indicators. And with these indicators, we calculate the fictive costs of the environmental impact. And the target was on €1 per square meter in 2018. And we now have a new target of €0.8 per square meter. The thought about behind that is that if you go lower, that your environmental impact also decreases. Actually, we want to push this into reducing it even more, of course. Yeah. And we also have this indicator in BREEAM-NL. For our Dutch listeners, maybe they already know this, but in January, there was a manifest on bio-based materials, really to boost more sustainable materials. This has spiked the discussion on the MPG and how you should calculate this. We are also looking with the market what everybody thinks about this and how we can really boost the methodology and really to also to boost the sustainable materials. And one way to also reduce materials is through the material passport. It's also indicated as a market opportunity. And in the Netherlands, we have a material passport in Madaster. It was introduced by an architect a couple of years ago. With this material passport, you can really show the different materials in your buildings and also put this in your BIM so that if the building lifespan is over, you can quickly see how you can reuse all the different materials. And Madaster is also working internationally, so that might be interesting. But you also have a couple of others, and but this is the most known in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. Another way to do it is through urban mining. So really to see how one building can be used for the next building. And the most known known party in the Netherlands is New Horizon. So their slogan is that they harvest materials from old buildings and put them into new ones. This is a really nice example how you can reduce also construction waste. Mm-hmm. If you put that into projects, I wanted to show you two projects. Biopartner 5, urban mining. So actually what they did is they took one lab, and they actually reused the whole steel construction and put this to 750 meters apart from the old building. So they actually reused the whole construction, and in this way they drastically reduced their environmental impact. And they not only did this for the steel construction, but yeah, I think for 50% of all materials, and the other materials were also sourced through waste streams and stuff like that. And
Letitia, sorry, just like from the sake of the timing, just to give you a heads up, if you could really give us what are the highlights of this project. It's super interesting.
Yeah.
But we would like to move also to the other topics afterwards. Many thanks.
Yeah, of course, I'm almost done. So that was, the steel construction was actually the most highlighted part. So it was like really the base of the whole building. And another nice example is Lidl Almere Oosterwold. So they are net zero carbon on the operational and the material part. And they do this through offsetting on site. So they have some bio parts building in their on site, and they really thought about how can you use bio-based materials in the whole construction part of that. Well, and then really quickly. This is a lot of text, yeah, I know, but this is just to show you how sustainable concrete in the Netherlands looks like. We have a betonakkoord, so a concrete collaboration in the entire supply chain of concrete, and together with the government, I believe that the Netherlands is really good and a front runner in sustainable concrete. So that might also be interesting to dive into. And that's it. So I'll give my time back to you, Andrea. Thank you.
Many thanks, Letitia. And I just got to say, like, for instance, this last slide we're looking at, I do believe that was the rooftop terrace of Accenture, where I had the opportunity to spend quite a lot of years. So it's fun to see all those beautiful images coming back of Zauda's Accenture rooftop terrace. Indeed, Lidl and everything you've been mentioning. So thank you so much for walking us through that. It's very obvious that within the Netherlands and the whole market, the whole policy being in place, the life cycle analysis legislation, all those are fantastic tools that are really helping the market to become more circular and more sustainable. So many thanks for highlighting that. Again, I would like to remind also that you shared a couple of studies that are in place. And it really feels like that those studies are perfectly matching the gaps that were identified in both Hungary and Slovakia. So highly recommend to have a look at those publications, either through the website of Dutch Green Building Council or just get in touch directly with Letitia. Many thanks for all the presentations. And indeed, so this first part of our session was about what do we see, what are the gaps, where we need to collaborate a little bit more, what are the opportunities. And now in the second part, that's going to be more interactive, we're going to move into real examples. What are actually the experiences of Dutch entrepreneurs that are already active on the markets in Slovakia and Hungary. And I would like to hereby also encourage everyone that's a Dutch entrepreneur with a good idea, and especially already seeing how they could be a part of filling those gaps on the markets in Slovakia and Hungary. Raise your hand, we will have a space for a pitch, and we're very keen to hear from you. But without further ado, right now I would like to give a word to Zsombor Barta, president of the Hungary Green Building Council. And Zsombor, if you could just very quickly introduce what's happening, what are you seeing? That would be fantastic. Many thanks.
Thank you very much, Andrea, and thank you very much also for the embassies in Budapest and in Bratislava for organizing this event. I'm also very happy that I'm seeing also some familiar spaces from the Slovakian and Hungarian green building councils. So if it comes to green buildings in Hungary, then currently we have a lot of ongoing certifications, mostly focusing on the Budapest and Budapest regions. These certifications, as it was also mentioned previously by Peter, are mainly for the commercial sector, so for the commercial real estate sectors. Hungary has currently approximately 240 green building certifications, mainly BREEAM, LEED, and a little bit of DGNB, and the Austrian ÖGNI standard is also available here. So we have seen that especially the commercial real estate sector is taking green building certification seriously. This is not only because of marketing purposes and marketing issues, obviously this plays also a part, but it's also because these green building certifications are also limiting the risks, financial and sustainability risk connected to the real estates. And we have seen, or we are seeing currently also a big trend, which is moving also to green finance. And therefore, these commercial real estate projects are focusing, because of the green financing issues, on sustainability and on third-party certifications in the country and in the region. I'm happy to share with you, if you have specific questions, of course, also other insights and other details about the Hungarian or Central European green building market. But I would like to keep it short now, to leave also the space for comments, questions. And therefore, that's it for the moment from me, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Jambor, and thank you for keeping it short. Indeed, there's so much ahead of us. I'm already seeing a couple of entrepreneurs raising their hands. So very, very curious to hear what is their proposition, how they can help develop the markets in Slovakia and Hungary. Before we get there, there are a couple of things. We also have with us a board member of the Slovak Green Building Council. We have Marek Kremen with us. So Marek, do you have a couple of words you would like to share with this group today?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I have a short presentation, but I think based on the time lag we have already, I will just skip it and I will keep it straight. And I will just follow up. I will make a follow up to what Jambor already said. It's a very similar situation in Slovakia. We have mostly certifications in the commercial sector, and the reason I believe is the same as in Hungary. It is not purely done only for marketing reasons, which is great. We've been here having certifications since 2010. So currently we have over 100 certified buildings or buildings which are undergoing certification. The interesting point is that mostly industrial buildings are getting certified, which is not really mentioned very often. And of course, what I would like to highlight, because that's why we are here also to highlight things, we have also Green Community certification, which it's a very special certification, which is applied on districts of the city, so not on the individual buildings. This is very interesting because we shouldn't think only individually about buildings, but we should think about cities, which are consuming not only energy, but also producing carbon. The sad thing is that we are, so far, we are very focused on energy, and that's I think history. I would say that's a paleo time thinking, because the carbon is more important currently if we want to survive for not only us but for our children's children. So in the commercial and the public buildings and these sectors, this topic is not very clear. It is not spoken clear. It is many times very difficult to explain for non-professionals how the carbon production works in the building sector, for example. So therefore, I think the easiest way would be to apply it into legislation. to apply it on a public and a commercial sector together. And that's what's not happening. Really, we have some EU targets, of course, 2030, 2050, but the countries itself need concrete solutions implemented into legislation. And that's why Green Building Council in Slovakia, which I'm representing, we're trying to educate and to, of course, implement these ideas into the practice and to motivate the industry and people that this is the right thing to do. And that's what we are doing. So beside networking, and we have many members, international companies, which were already mentioned, we try to connect people, network people, and discuss how we can implement and improve the situation in Slovakia. And maybe that's also maybe a problem, that we should think globally, like we are here today, and we should act in a way that we apply these things into legislation. So we don't only talk about it, but it's actually happening. And I would say it's a must, and it's not the option. Because many people think about it as about the option, and that's a problem. There is no option. There is no question if, but question is when. And I personally believe, and probably all of us, that yesterday was quite too late to start. And that's how I would close my input.
Thank you so much, Marek. Indeed, the time is now, and we're very happy that all of us are connected now. And again, just to highlight, this is really the beginning, and there is a lot of work ahead of us. So thank you so much for sharing on what are the priorities and what's the focus of the Slovak Green Building Council. Thank you, Marek. Yeah, I would like to invite to join us and share highlights of his experience doing business in Hungary. So we got with us Rudolf Nane from company Footprint. Rudolf, can you highlight what is your experience doing business within green buildings and constructions in Hungary, please?
Yeah, sure. Hi, thanks for the introduction. I'm Rudolf Nane, I'm Dutch, but we are developers of zero energy homes here in Hungary, Budapest. And I share quickly my screen. Can you see it? This is just our website, but then the viewers have an impression. So this idea basically came from building my own family house already back in 2018 for me and my wife. And naturally, I went to to Johannes, which is my colleague and now also my business partner. He's also Dutch and has already a long history in construction. It was also because of him and his experience with already building zero energy homes in the Netherlands that he convinced us to also build a zero energy house for ourselves. So to keep it short, I would like to give the word to him because he would like to explain more about our concept.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Johannes, please.
Yes. Well, I am the stepfather of Rudolf, so that's the connection. I have a strong connection with Hungary because my wife is Hungarian and she is the mother of Rudolf. So for 50% I live in Hungary, and for 50% I live in Holland. I'm in Holland now for personal reasons. We started a year ago Footprint because what Rudolf told, the experience with his house. My background is that I have 48 years experience now in project development. I studied architecture in Delft, but also building techniques in Amsterdam before. And I was active in the field as an architect, but later as an advisor on building physics. And also it's more or less my hobby to develop zero energy houses. And I made a project in Holland in 2013. This is the example of it. It's in the social housing sector, what is, well, rather new, I think. because normally the price is leading in the social housing sector, and this was in the limits of that. So we developed 12 houses in the first project in Holland, and they are zero energy. That means that the production of the energy of the house by solar panels, for instance, is enough to heat the house for the whole year and to have energy enough to use for your household. There is only one restriction: you need a connection to the net, because in the summer you have an overproduction of energy, and in the winter you have a leak of energy. But in the balance, in the total, you produce more energy than you use in a year. I have a house in Eert, and I have 20 panels on my roof, and I produce 3 times more energy than I use in a year, because I'm not always there.
Johannes, thank you so much for sharing this. It's very, very clear that what you do is amazing, and zero net houses are exactly what we need more of. So fantastic to see. Can you please tell us how is doing business in Hungary from your point of view? Because we really want to showcase to the other entrepreneurs that it's a good idea. Thanks.
Well, I have already practice done between 94 and 99. I had a factory in Hungary, so I know how it's life. And in those days, it was difficult to have a loan from the bank. And I quit it in 2000 and came back to Holland. And then I worked 20 years in project development here in Amsterdam and other places. So I'm rather familiar with Hungary and the problems you face there. For me personally, I think it's very easy to be an entrepreneur in Hungary, because I don't see the big problems and of course rules are everywhere about taxes and bookkeeping and so on. So that's not a problem, and they are. You can compare it more or less. The system of Hungary is not so far from the system we use in Holland. So that's international system. But to work in Hungary, well, there is a difference of course in the building industry in Holland and in Hungary. In Holland, the building industry is actually only in hands of big firms, mostly big firms, who produce plans and then realize it. I did it 20 years, so I know this market. And in Hungary, it is more on a smaller scale. A lot of people build private houses, but you don't see in Holland. Actually, you must be a millionaire before you can build a house for yourself in Holland, because you have to hire an architect, and that's not the common sense here. It is production, and the disadvantage of that is that if you are in the north in Groningen or in the south in Zealand, you see the same plants, the same houses, the same structure of everything. Everything is look like each other. So I don't like that personally. It's more interesting to have what you see in Belgium, that every house is different. It is an own touch. It is an own expression of an idea of design. And that's what I like more. We are now in the opportunity to produce projects in Hungary, not only because we have the technology to do that, but we have also the money to start our first projects and finance ourselves, and that makes it much easier to realize a project. So on this moment, we have 3 spots. One house is starting on the construction, Rudolf's house. We have bought a few months ago 828 square meters in Pilisvörderswaard. We produced there 2 houses on it. We have also a piece of land near Balaton, 3,500 square meters, and we want to build there 6 till 8 houses. What is the direction what we want to do? That is use the PHPP method. That is an an international standard for calculating what is the footprint, here the word is coming, from a house, how is the location efficient for the energy household, for instance, the sun. It can be an important role in summertime, but also in wintertime. Don't heat it up too much in the summer and use it maximum in the wintertime. And in that method, you can calculate all the aspects of the energy behavior of a building. And that's an international system. It's used all over the world, from Canada till Australia. It is actually developed in Germany. And it is very popular. It is also available in Hungarian language. So it's easy to use it as a tool to customers to discuss their design. What is the effect of their design? And it also can give you an idea how environmental friendly and energy friendly the end result will be.
Jan, for walking us through all those technicalities. I do believe it's very important for everyone listening, and those are mostly the Dutch counterparts, really interested and curious about the Dutch, the market in Hungary and Slovakia. So in one sentence, what's your favorite thing about doing business in Hungary?
Well, I like very much the Hungarian. They are very open-minded and you can speak very easily with them. And unfortunately, my Hungarian language is not 100% now. So I have to use a third language, the English, and but the contacts are always very easy and personal, and that's what I like very much. It's just, you don't have the feel that it is all business. The other part is, and it's the difficult part in the building industry. It is everything what is made now, in my opinion, goes very, very slow. And we want to increase the building speed, and it can in one move in the direction of environment friendly building. And also, I don't see myself.
No worries, we see you. We see you.
And we decide to build in cross-laminated timber. That is factory building houses. There are 6 factories in Austria and also 6 in Germany. And they have a big experience, and the big advantage is that, of course, you have a designing phase and you have a production phase, but after it leaving the factory, you can build the rough construction of a house in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, so it can go very fast as well. But indeed, the entrepreneurs coming to the Hungarian market really need to count on having some extra patience. I want to say on behalf of everyone, big thank you for sharing this experience. And I have a feeling we could really listen to you for way, way, way longer.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing. At this stage, I would like to give also words to entrepreneurs who are just in exploration phase of this market. And again, I would highly suggest, in terms of networking and connection, get in touch with Johannes. I'm so sure he has so many stories, so much experience with Hungarian market already. I'm seeing we're having quite a lot of entrepreneurs online, and their hand is also up. So Jan Kron, Managing Director at FiberCore Europe. Jan, can you pitch in like 1 minute, 2 minutes, what is it that you do and how this could be a good match for the markets? Jan, are you with us?
Unmute.
Oh, fantastic. Here you are. Hi.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Well, I heard all the presentations. It's a lot about house building and buildings. We are a manufacturer in Holland of FRP, fiber reinforced polymers bridges. So we are more on the infrastructure side, but our products are highly sustainable and circular in a way as well. And we are expanding through agents and license partners throughout the world, in Australia, Canada, United States, Norway, to spread our product around the world. Let's put it that way. So we have a very sustainable product in times of life cycle cost and life cycle analysis. It's a very sustainable and highly circular product with a very low CO2 footprint for building construction. And therefore, we think there is a market for FRP bridges in Hungary as well. We've seen it. Quite a lot of bridges from us are going to Poland. We had an offer made in Russia last week. So step by step, the bridges will go, let's say, throughout the world.
Many thanks. Many thanks.
More on the infrastructure. Yeah.
Many thanks, Jan. So indeed, we're talking about Fiber Core Europe. Again,
yes.
I highly recommend everyone to get in touch with Jan directly to check out the website. Thank you so much, Jan.
Okay. Yeah.
I would like to move to Omid now. Omid, can you pitch us your product? What is it that you're busy with and how this could be nicely matched to the markets in Slovakia and Hungary?
Thank you. My name is Omid Hajishir Mohammadi. I'm founder of For Omid. For Omid has stood to enable the next generation to create their built environment with nothing on Earth and Mars by providing sustainable, simple, and scalable solution for transition to the circular built environment. For key building sector stakeholders who want more efficient, productive, and creative solutions, For Omid paves the way by producing circular biobricks, creating versatile architectural style, providing the mountable building technology, and in situ manufacturing system. We are based in Rotterdam. For Omid was introduced as one of the 46 solutions for nitrogen dioxide reduction in the Netherlands in December 2020. Also, we were admitted to the Impel Plus program Innovators, which has been supported by the United States Department of Energy and has been led by the Berkeley Lab. For Omid is a startup at the product and team development stage. We are looking to collaborate with key building sector stakeholders to bring the solution to market. Our first product will be the circular sculptures. If you are interested in collaborating with us to build the circular sculptures for promoting circular economy values to your society, please feel free to contact us. I will send a link in the chat for scheduling a small talk. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Many thanks, Omid. So indeed, for Omid, a startup that is producing circular biobricks, and right now they would like to collaborate in the field of circular sculptures. Omid, thank you so much for pitching your company. I'm having several hands up, so
thank you for the opportunity.
Our pleasure, absolutely. I'm looking now at Jelle Sturkenboom. Jelle, the floor is yours. You're on mute, but we're looking forward to what you're saying.
Yes, we've unmuted. Just let me share the screen so we can just give you some image with what we're doing. We are developing actually an ecosystem of partners that are working on a blueprint for future living from our lighthouse project, which is named Common Woods, and will be developed in Amersfoort, in the middle of the Netherlands. And I'll just briefly take you through this. If anyone is interested, we can send it through mail. I'll go through it really fast. Otherwise, we'll take half an hour. Why? We all know we've lost 60% of biodiversity in the last 50 years. We're coping with a huge housing shortage worldwide, and building and construction are responsible for almost 40% of all carbon emissions in the world. Besides that, we take a bit more holistic approach because we also see that there are around 30 million Europeans who frequently feel lonely. And we believe we need a new form of hybrid social ecological urbanism to tackle that issue and to transition this world while doing so from the eco-based paradigm to an eco-based paradigm. And just to help this started, because we can only do this with all of us together, we created a cooperation between the companies who are now working on Project Common Woods and set this out as a blueprint for future living. This is quite interesting because it gets the highlights in one image. Mm-hmm. It's based on community building and participation. So we are creating the boundaries of these new projects together with all stakeholders, speeding up urban processes enormously. tackling issues to implement really future-proof architecture and sustainability and circularity within the regulations we all have. Building modular in wood, preserving ecological environments and stimulate them actually, new forms of energy, material and resource flow. And really important also shared services. I'll just take you through the companies we're working together with this really fast to this image that really shows the inclusivity of our new hybrid form of urban development. And the partners we're working together with now. We're open for international new partners. Just received a nice EU React EU subsidy to work on an international program also. Yeah, that's it. I think I kept it within a minute.
Yeah, thank you so much. Super efficient, and I'm very grateful that you really went through this quickly, but at the same time highlighting that indeed that it's all about collaboration, common grounds, blueprint for future living. And please do share with us link also in the comments. We'll make sure that everyone can connect. And without further ado, I would like to move on to the next project and give word now to Barry Leverman, who is representing company Oxycon, and he's the expert director. So Barry, please. You're on mute.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Barry.
Yeah, I'm unmuted now.
Perfect. Fantastic.
Sorry, I was trying to find a button. Yes, my name is Barry Leverman, expert director of Oxycom. What we are mainly doing is looking at fresh air inside buildings, and we are focusing on the big open spaces, whereby we look at people, but also at production processes, so improve the processes, but looking at healthy people, and especially in the period where we are at the moment, fresh, healthy outside air, also cooled air is essential inside buildings. And we do that with a lower energy cost and saving up to 90% of the common air conditioning costs. That's in a very short 18 seconds what we do.
Amazing.
And we do have local representatives in both Slovakia and in Hungary. Both are also present inside the audience right now. So we do have local maintenance installation available.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Barry. That was like incredibly efficient. Much appreciated. Please do share links so everyone can dive through the website and can find out more about how you're helping to bring fresh air to the buildings. Thank you so much for being with us today. I would like to give the words to Brian Smits now. Brian, over to you.
Thank you, Andrea. Yeah, my name is Brian. I work for a company called Circularize, and what we do is we enable. I was triggered in the previous discussions by PwC with the sustainable construction materials, and we realized that it's really important that you can actually prove where the materials come from if you want to establish, for instance, on the other side, circular procurement, and also if you want to communicate to your customers how circular you actually are. So what we do is we create a digital twin. We work with blockchain technology, but also with part of it is open source of the solution, so we can interact with other systems. But through this way, you can actually prove in the digital space that what you have produced physically actually matches that. So if you have a circular product, you have certification for that, you create a digital twin in our software, and that way you can match it. And it gives incredible amount of trust to your customers. And if you are buying materials, it gives a lot of trust actually buying the materials for the parties that have incorporated this. In the built environment, we're working with, for instance, the city of Amsterdam with their concrete products. We're initiating a pilot there now, and we have a couple of other customers in that space. So if you're interested in looking into how you can profile your sustainable materials, you can reach out to me. I'll put my contact details in the chat. Thank you so much.
Brian, thank you so much.
Thanks.
And indeed, Circularize, we're all looking forward to exploring a little bit more. Our next picture of the company that they have is Karen Koma. Karen, please.
I had to start my video. Okay, I'm from the company Latexvalt in the Netherlands. We are a producer of emulsions for road construction. And we have developed several products to, one, to extend the lifetime of asphalt. You can extend the lifetime by 6 years by putting this emulsion to rejuvenate it. And also we have bio-based emulsions for recycling asphalt. So to increase the amount of recycled asphalt in the top layers. These are the things that we're doing, and also we're working on roof materials that are longer lasting and can be put under green gardens, for example.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So you were talking about asphalt and also roofs, how we can extend the life of the materials.
Yes.
I really like that all the different pitches were different. So when we put everything together, we have a beautiful combination of materials, of processes, and of ideas that can really help us to transform the markets in Hungary and in Slovakia. Thank you very much for all those pitches. Again, please do share the link so all of us can explore more. I would like to highlight that, again, we're grateful for everyone who joined today, who was very keen to share with us insights, whether it was a study, whether it was experience, and also for the Dutch entrepreneurs to pitching what is it that they can offer. We will indeed make sure that you're receiving links to the study, that you're receiving the presentations from the PwC that were shared today, and we will include also the links from the chat. And before we wish you a wonderful day, I would like to give now the word finally to Jan Lambert Voortman, who is with us as well. And he's a president of the Netherlands Chamber of the Commerce in the Slovak Republic. And yeah, Jan Lambert, looking at you, I'm very sure you can share with us also some insights based on your experience in doing business as a Dutchman in Slovakia. Over to you.
Yeah, I will try to keep it under 30 seconds because everybody has to move probably to the next meeting. I only can talk about Slovakia. So 14 years ago, we started in Slovakia because it has the same currency as the Netherlands. Very stable working force, and nice people, like also Johanna said earlier about Hungarians. I fully agree there as well, because we hired also a lot of Hungarians in our office. And the mentality is really to deliver. Yeah, so, and that's I think a very good thing. Two things to keep in mind when you want to do business in Slovakia, and feel free to reach out to Dutch Chamber of Commerce for in-depth talks or help or whatever. But two things I would like to share with you is that it's not Dutch management style will not work. So you have to be very clear what your assignment is to whoever you give an assignment to. That's one, if you want to work and have successful cooperation. And two, if you start working in a partnership or engaging in a contract, make sure you have the signature first. Because it's not in the Netherlands like, okay, hey, we shake hands and we will do it, etc. It works differently, I can tell you. Yeah, so we learned it the hard way. So, but if you do this, it's a beautiful country to operate, a beautiful country to invest in, and you can have a lot of fun as well. And I wish you all the best in investing, or in Hungary, or in my beautiful Slovakia. All the best.
Jan Lambert, thank you so much for providing so much insight within such a very short time that was left. But indeed, I do believe that was very valuable for everyone who's wondering how he's doing business in Slovakia. So just to conclude today's meeting, where we were hearing from so many people, big thank you to the organizers, to the embassy, to the Dutch embassies in both Slovakia and in the Hungary, to the Dutch Green Building Council, Slovakia Green Building Council, to Footprint, Fiber Core Europe, Oxycon, For Omid, Common Grounds, Alatersvat, First Core Europe, and to everyone who was able to share with us experience, including Circularize. And yeah, I would say we are very happy you were able to join us. And again, to be continued. So stay tuned and have a wonderful day. All the best. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.